Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about a Japanese theater tradition called Rakugo, or another known as sit-down theater. This is criterion A, the unfamiliar theater tradition. Table of contents. And this is how you pronounce it, Rakugo. It means fallen words. Rakugo is a form of Japanese verbal entertainment, or can be a comedy show. During the performance, there are only two props that can be used. They are the sensu and the tengu, better known as the fan and the cloth. Typically, they are used to mimic real-life things. This is performed without standing. In source 4, it states that it is performed by a size of seating position. A size of seating position is a formal Japanese sitting posture in which a person kneels on the floor, tucks the legs underneath the thighs, and rests their buttocks on the heels, with a straight back and hands in the lap or on the thighs. In a Rakugo performance, the person sitting on the stage is known as a Rakugo, which is stated in source 1. They are a lone storyteller seated on a cushion called a zabuton and raised on a platform known as the koza. Rakugo is believed to have roots that can be traced to earlier comical narratives known as the Kompanishi from the 17th century and even earlier, possibly the 9th and the 10th centuries. Buddhist monks may have used this form of storytelling in their sermons to make them more interesting and more fun to listen to. According to source 1, Rakugo dates back to the Tokugawa period, otherwise known as the Edo period. This is from 1603 to 1867, the last period of traditional Japan, a time of eternal peace, political stability, and economic progress under the shogunate. This is a demonstration of the process of Rakugo in the performance, sitting on the koza, the zabuton, and he's using the fanicle. So the tradition dates back over 400 years. It is a very minimalist performance. As stated, it only has one person on the stage at a time. They kneel on the cushion and only use two props to tell the story. The performer typically will bring their story alive by changing their tone of voice, using different facial expressions and posture. Classical Rakugo performances have been passed down for generations, even though there are modern versions of it that reflect contemporary life. Rakugo holds a significance in Japan today. It is simple and full of imagination, offering entertainment and a good connection to the nation's history and humor. Some important aspects of Rakugo are that there are solo performers who tell the entire story and they portray all of the characters. The performer sits on the cushion the whole time and they never stand or move around the stage. There are multiple roles or character shifts that are distinguished by changes in the tone of voice, expression, and slight head or body movements. Humor and wordplay are another aspect, and they rely heavily on puns, misunderstandings, irony, and exaggeration for a more comedic effect. Traditional Rakugo typically follows a structure that often ends with a funny punchline called an ochi. Rakugo is often passed down through strict training under a leader or a master called a shisho. The reason for this is to preserve the technique. There is Koshi Rakugo, which tells the classical story, and Shin Rakugo, which is a newer version of it, and it lets it evolve. This is all according to source 1. The last thing is the different conventions, and the one I ended up choosing as shown, I picked the miming with props through the body. The props are the fan and the cloth, and they are used through impressive gestures. The miming lets the audience explore their imagination and fill the little details of the story as they want. There are other important conventions, just not the ones that I particularly chose to focus on and try to do. They are communication of character transitions, and communication of transitions between locations. In communication of character transitions, only one performer tells the story. They have to be able to switch between different characters clearly and quickly. They do this through body movements and shifts in their voice to indicate a different personality, which was stated earlier. When it comes to communication of transitions between locations, the speaker has to be able to physically use their voice to suggest when the scene is moved from home to the middle of the road or from indoors to outdoors. This is an example of them using the fan to demonstrate chopsticks, or them eating noodles using using the fan as chopsticks to tell the story. This is another example of them using the cloth that you were allowed to use as a notebook or a book that they were reading out of to mimic them, to tell the story. Thank you.